Hey guys, Nathan Robert here. I have a pretty crazy update I want to share with you in my stock portfolio. And I actually made a video almost exactly a year ago called I Found the Best Dividend Stock of All Time with Proof. A little bit of a clickbaity title, but basically the one stock I went over in that video is United Rentals, ticker symbol URI. And when I made this video, I did not own the stock. And I did not end up buying this stock for another 3 to 4 months later. So I had this stock on my watch list for a long time and I finally own the position. Also, check this out. Back a long time ago, my portfolio was worth 13,300. Well, check it out right now. We're currently worth 26,657 in just a little bit over a year time. So my portfolio is up 12% year to date. But this video, I want to do another analysis on United Rentals because yesterday they hit an all-time high. So this one has been an absolute monster of a performer. Here's why I think they're also going to continue to hit a new all-time high. I think go to that $1,000 a share level, but I'm not so much recommending you should buy this one right now at all-time highs. It's definitely a tough buy. Again, nothing in this is financial advice. I'm just a college student. I'm not an expert, but check this out right here. I do own 5 shares of United Rentals. We're up 47% on our position. We bought them not exactly during the bottom. Like, look at this. Our average cost is $621 a share. If we go look at the bottom right here, yeah, look, it was way after this dip right here. It was around this time or it was before this time. But anyway, we didn't exactly time the bottom perfectly, and we're still up 50% on our shares. And guess what? This company also pays a nice growing dividend. And as you'll see very soon, the payout ratio for this stock is surprisingly low. So check that out. We got 5 shares. Each share pays $1.79 each. So that pays me $9. And this is in my taxable account, but because they pay a qualified dividend in my tax bracket, that income I'm getting is actually completely tax free. So let me share with you a few things I like about United Rentals. I'll share with you a little bit of the financials, and then we'll go look in the investor presentation and see what they actually do because this company has a huge market share, largest market share for rentals. I bet you can kind of guess what they do. They're in the rental industry. All right, so here's what's really impressive about United Rentals financials. I'll be pretty quick about this, but this is a $58 billion company trading at a 23 PE. And I believe this company has the ability to like stretch up to like a 25 PE, putting that at $1,000 a share before it really gets really stretched in an overvaluation. Because this isn't like extreme bull market yet. 23 PE is pretty fair. They have the general rentals and they also have the specialty rental, which has been a really nice growth driver for them because they acquire a bunch of companies and it really helps out the growth for their specialty rentals revenue. But here's what I want to show you. I'll kind of point out the elephant in the room here. The stock is at all-time highs, growing like a great tech stock, but look at these growth rates. Revenue's up 4.5% year over year. Net income's actually down 2% year over year. Why is the stock at all-time highs? Well, that's because the analysts expected this and they beat the analyst expectations. They beat on revenue, they matched on EPS, and they beat on EBITDA slightly. So analysts were expecting this, but main thing that really led to a lot of the growth recently was a new tax change for this company where they can instantly write off all of the depreciation of an asset they buy, which is pretty cool. But there's one more thing I want to share with you about this company that's pretty crazy, and that's the share buybacks that they do. So here's the net income. The net income is down 2.2% year over year, but the net income per share is up 0.5% year over year. That's because the share part of the ratio went down. They're buying back their own stock like crazy. Here's how you check that. You just go to the cash flow statement and you scroll down to the net common stock issuance. And as you can see, they're literally buying back 300 to 400 million of their stock every single quarter. And here's how much the dividend cost. The dividend only cost $117 million a quarter. I mean, and you get an over 1% yield, I believe, or no, just under a 1% yield. But they're literally spending 4x the amount on buybacks than they are on dividends. So that's how I know this is going to be a great dividend growth stock in the future. They're going to slowly transition from doing buybacks to paying out more in dividends. Eventually, they'll double their dividend. They could afford to 3x their dividend right now. They just choose not to, which is very responsible of them. They actually kind of just started paying their dividend in 2023, so this is a fairly new company. But yeah, you get a 0.8% yield, 16% payout ratio. That's the financials I really like about United Rentals. By the way, if you want to get this app I'm on, I'll have a link for it in the description. It's my favorite brokerage, favorite app to do analysis on, and that's where I hold a bunch of my stocks in here. I keep my idle cash in here as well because you get the daily interest on here. You don't have to pay $5 $10 a month like you do with Robinhood. So I just feel like it's more useful brokerage than Robinhood. So if you want to get this app, by the way, I'll have an affiliate link in the description. So if you go and deposit $100, we'll both get 5 free stocks, which is pretty cool. So anyway, Moomoo link in the description. It is an affiliate link, so full disclosure. But anyway, let me go do some more analysis on United Rentals for you in their investor presentation. All right, so here's the most up-to-date presentation from United Rentals second quarter 2025 investor presentation. I'll just go through the highlights here. We're definitely not going to look through all these slides here, but yeah, they literally have the largest market share, 15% of the entire market. Then Sunbelt and Herc, that's also a stock. I think ticker symbol HRC. I don't know, but we don't really need to know much of this right here. So we know they rent out stuff. What do they rent out? Well, here's kind of they break it down by sector: aerial, forklifts, dirt trucks, power, mobile storage. That's this one right here. Fluid compressors. So they're all over the market and for a very wide, diverse range of industries. Like check this out right here. Customer mix right here. Residential constructions is only exposed 5% to that market. So that's why they've been really outperforming the home builders, non-residential construction, and other in industrial. So all these sectors right here: manufacturing, utilities, food and beverage, chemicals, oil and gas, entertainment, and why companies rent instead of buy. Well, there are many, many reasons right here. And especially right now with the high interest rate environment, it's not really worth buying some equipment brand new, especially if you're just using it for a short term, just for some construction. And yeah, we can see diverse and market stream. They're in all these different industries right here, all these different customers right here, power and HVAC. But yeah, look at this right here. They have these specialty revenue growth, which I did already show previously, but this has grown at a 20% CAGR. That's compound annual growth rate. That's very impressive. I mean, you can kind of just see right here. The only slowdown was in 2020 and it barely dipped down. I mean, what other company just had the revenues just barely dip and then right back in 2021, new record, new record? I mean, pretty impressive growth for United Rentals right here. They have a nice digital platform for customer experience, customer ease. All right, here's another cool slide I'll be quick about. So their ROIC, return on invested capital, exceeds the cost of capital, which means that's money for you as the shareholder. But anyway, here's the actual cash flows of the company. Their cumulative free cash flow over the past 5 years is $10 billion. The whole market cap is back, what was it, 52 billion? That's it after being at all-time highs. You know, we were buying it at a 40 to 42 billion dollar market cap level. So, you know, that's 25% of the company, which is a lot. You know, 25% of your money back in 5 years, that's at least a good return every year, 5%, you know, at least inflation beating. And that's just the free cash flow. The net income is really what you want to look at, plus the buybacks and everything. And that's how they can afford to do all the buybacks right here. Cumulative free cash flow the past 10 years is 16 billion. Pretty crazy. The free cash flow margin is a 17.4%. So you go spend $100 with this company, 17 or $174 of that is free cash flow for the company. And here's the 2025 estimate. Free cash flow is expected to be 2.5 billion, a record. So look, 2025 is going to be a record free cash flow year for the quarter. So pretty cool. And look at the balance sheet right here, the leverage. This is really good. They're deleveraging the balance sheet. I mean, they were constantly at this 2 to 3x level. Now it's under a 2. So that's great news. They do have a bit of debt, which I don't love, but they can easily afford to pay off the debt. I mean, if they're spending 400 million a quarter on buybacks, which they can easily afford, and 100 million on dividends, they can easily afford to deleverage if they want to. But this is a healthy position that they're in right now. So yeah, thoughtful capital allocation via dividends, repurchases, versus net debt. So yeah, anyway, pretty cool. Here's some of the maturities of the debt. So it looks like they got a lot pay. But anyway, and here's another huge fact about the buybacks of the company. So check this out. On July 23rd, 2025, so really recently, they approved a 1.5, or they upped the buyback program from 1.5 to 2 billion. Repurchased $417 million this quarter. And check this out. We intend to repurchase an additional 1.23 billion through Q4 2025. So that's a lot more shares are going to buy back. I do want to hear if they're going to be opportunistic about this because the share price did just skyrocket. So I do wonder if they're not going to do those buybacks or slow down on them, which would be the right thing to do. But maybe they'll buy back the shares anyway. I wouldn't really care if they buy them back at all-time highs. Here's also some of money they return to you via M&A. So check this out. Here's all the companies they've acquired. They bought business from Cummins. That's a stock as well. And Yak Mats. This is a very cool company. And look, there's also a lot of synergies. 65 million of revenue synergies, 60 million of revenue synergies, 7 million of cost synergies. I mean, this is accretive to the EPS, which is great news. And this synergy of Yak Mats, it's a really cool company, specialty matting company. But yeah, let's see. Free cash flow year to date is already 1.2 billion. So that's how again they can easily afford to do these dividends. Net income this quarter. Oh, that was year to date, but this quarter they did 622 million of net income, which is really good. But it did fall a little bit year over year. But anyway, here's the full year 2025 outlook. Free cash flow of 2.4 to 2.6 billion. Very impressive. Adjusted EBITDA of 7 to 7.5 billion. I mean, that's in your 50% EBITDA ratio from this revenue right here. 15.8 to 7.3. Yeah, nearly a 50% EBITDA ratio. So just very impressive right here. 2025 aspirational targets. Here's what they want to acquire or get to. Adjusted EBITDA of 10 billion. And what was it right now? 7.5. So that's a 25% increase, 15% return on invested capital, 7 billion of specialty revenue. I'm not sure what it's at right now, but total revenue of 20 billion. But anyway, that was the investor presentation. And let me know what you think about United Rentals. If you would, yeah, please drop a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Oh, and if you wanted to, you could hit the join button. There's no benefits of it. You're just really doing it to support me. But I hope you have a great rest of your day. Also, leave a comment. Let me know how your day is going. Hope you're having a great, what's it, Monday? Tuesday? Yeah, it's Monday. So anyway.